Throughout history, wars have taken lives, kings have fallen, empires have crumbled, but nothing has reshaped the world quite like plague. From ancient empires to our modern cities, invisible killers have swept through humanity, rewriting fate one cough at a time. I'm your infected, feathered historian, and I'll tell you what happened. 10. The Kokolistli epidemic, 1545 to 1548 Mesoamerica. It came with the rain, then the drought, then death. The Kokolistli epidemic, one of the most devastating outbreaks you've probably never heard of. In New Spain, modern Mexico, between 5 and 15 million indigenous people died within just a few years. The symptoms were horrifying. Fever, dark urine, bleeding from the eyes, convulsions, and death within days. Many believe it was a hemorrhagic fever worsened by climate change and colonial disruption. Others suspect smallpox or even early biological warfare. This wasn't just a plague. It was the silencing of entire civilizations. 9. Hong Kong flu, 1968 to 1969. Modern world, same old story. A new virus, no immunity. Planes full of passengers. Within months, it spread from Hong Kong to the world. It claimed over 1 million lives, many of them elderly. And it was the first pandemic of the jet age, accelerated by globalization. Governments reacted faster than in previous pandemics, thanks to vaccines and improved communication. But the virus still moved faster than most people could understand. Asian flu, 1957 to 1958. Just a decade earlier, humanity was rocked by another global flu, the Asian flu. It started in East Asia, likely in China, and became a global pandemic that killed up to 2 million people. It was the first outbreak to push scientists to develop a mass-produced flu vaccine in record time. It taught us that even in the nuclear age, the deadliest enemy might come from a sneeze. 7. Antonine Plague, 165 to 180 CE. Rome was at the peak of its power. Legions dominated the world. Then came the Antonine Plague. Likely smallpox, it was brought back from the east by soldiers. It killed 5 million people, including Emperor Lucius Verus, and possibly weakened Marcus Aurelius himself. Entire Roman legions vanished. The economy faltered. Trust in the gods eroded. Some say this was the beginning of the fall. COVID-19 pandemic, 2019 to present. Unlike many ancient plagues, this one didn't come from the shadows of forgotten history. It came in our own time, and it changed everything. In late 2019, a strange virus began to spread in Wuhan, China. At first, it looked like pneumonia, but it was something far more contagious and far more dangerous. Within months, it spread across the globe. By early 2020, major cities looked like ghost towns. Flights were grounded. Hospitals were overwhelmed. Entire countries went into lockdown. Streets emptied. Shelves were stripped bare. And human touch became a risk. COVID-19 wasn't just a health crisis. It was a global psychological event. Birthdays were canceled. Weddings postponed. Funerals held over Zoom. Even breathing near someone could be deadly. Some wore masks to protect others. Some refused to believe it was real. But the virus didn't care who you voted for, what country you lived in, or how rich you were. It killed over 7 million people worldwide, and counting. And yet, for many survivors, the scars it left weren't just physical. Mental health declined. Families broke under the stress, and frontliners, doctors, nurses, delivery workers, became the heroes we never knew we needed. Vaccines eventually arrived, but life didn't just go back to normal. It became a new normal. We started asking deeper questions. What is essential? Who do we trust? And how fragile is our world? This plague didn't just take lives. It took time, memories, and it reminded us that even in the modern world, we're still vulnerable. Third cholera pandemic, 1852 to 1860. Before germ theory, before sanitation, there was cholera, spreading through water no one knew was deadly. The third cholera pandemic was the worst. It took over 1 million lives, including England's Prince Albert. Enter Jon Snow. No, not the sword guy. This physician tracked cases to a contaminated water pump, proving disease could spread through water. His work didn't just stop cholera. It started modern epidemiology. 4. HIV/AIDS pandemic, 1981 to present. HIV was invisible, misunderstood, and cruel. It first appeared in small clusters, dismissed, ignored, feared. By the late 80s, it was killing people faster than governments could respond. Over 40 million people have died. But HIV wasn't just a virus. It was a battle against stigma, silence, and shame. Communities protested. Scientists raced. Politicians hesitated. It tore through countries, orphaned children, wiped out artists, workers, families. And yet, people survived. They fought back. And today, antiretroviral treatments have turned a death sentence into a manageable condition. But for millions, the trauma remains. Number 2. 3. Plague of Justinian, 541 to 542 CE. Before the Black Death, the same bacterium, Yersinia pestis, tore through the Byzantine Empire. The plague of Justinian began in Constantinople. Ships from Egypt brought rats, rats brought fleas, and the fleas brought death. It killed up to 50 million people, nearly half of Europe's population at the time. Emperor Justinian himself fell sick but survived, barely. But his empire? It never truly recovered. This plague cracked the foundation of the Eastern Roman Empire and gave rise to medieval Europe. 2. Spanish flu, 1918 to 1919. World War I ended, and the world celebrated. Then, the real war began. The Spanish flu infected 1/3 of Earth's population. It killed between 50 and 100 million people, more than the war itself. Hospitals collapsed. Entire villages vanished. It struck young, healthy adults, the workforce, the soldiers, the mothers. Some suffocated in hours. Their skin turned blue. Others recovered, only to lose their entire families. It reshaped global health systems. And yet, for decades, it was forgotten, buried under war stories and silence. 1. The Black Death, 1347 to 1351. The deadliest plague in recorded history. It began in Central Asia, reached Europe via trade routes, and by the time it ended, over 75 to 200 million people were dead. Cities were wiped out. Entire families vanished overnight. People blamed the stars, the Jews, the poor, the air itself. Doctors wore beaked masks filled with herbs. Priests rang bells and marched through the streets chanting. But nothing worked. It was the bubonic plague, spread by rats, fleas, and fear. It reshaped Europe's economy, workforce, religion, even art. In some twisted way, it helped end the Middle Ages. But the scars, physical and cultural, still linger in Europe's bones. So the next time someone coughs on a train, remember this. History isn't always made with swords and speeches. Sometimes it's made with fever, fear, and something you can't even see. This has been your favorite contaminated narrator. And until next time, Owl, tell you what happened.